Hi guys, today's video is going to be about these things. One of them, that, and this. As it's the beginning of the year or early in the year, there's a lot of people online doing their everyday carry videos. So a lot of videographers, photographers, creators, anyone with or in their name or on their title is doing a video of their stuff that they carry in their pocket on an everyday use. And a lot of those people always carry something which includes a tool of some sort, which would be a knife or something to open things or to fix things. For me personally, I don't have an everyday carry as such. I do have my keys for my car. I have a watch, always a different watch every day. I have my phone, sometimes a little spray thing for my perfumes or smells. That's about it really for me. I don't really need much else. And the reason I don't need much else is because half the time I would forget where I've done with stuff. I'll lose it. That's part of the ADHD. Having ADHD means that I forget things or I don't know where they are. And I can't find them, and if I'm looking for them, I get really stressed because I can't find them where I should know where they are. So things get confusing. So I try not to have too much stuff because I'd probably lose it. On my car keys, I do actually have a can opener, or it's both can opener and bottle opener. I also have my little copper Christmas tree, which is on my keys at all times. It's actually very useful. This helps me do up and undo tripods. The little flat end is a bit like a coin. So if I need to do the little bit on a tripod, that thing, I can then stick it in there on any tripod if out with the camera, and my tree is very, very handy. I do have some tools. I mean, my ex-girlfriend bought me this little thing a little while ago, or some time ago actually, for a birthday. This is always in the car. Again, it could be in the pocket. I mean, it's keyring size. That's the whole point of it. It's actually got a torch in it. A pair of scissors, a little knife, pen knifey type thing for opening things.
That's got a knife. That's a knife.
And a nail file. I have this little thing, which is quite useful. This has got a torch in it as well. So there's a torch in one end, and this opens up actually to be a pair of pliers. You've got a pair of pliers, a little screwdriver and can opener or bottle opener, screwdriver, which I have used, which is what I mainly used it for, the little screwdriver, a little knife to catch into things, so I'm trying to open cases and stuff like that on watches, and the pliers have been really, really useful. I'm just not the sort of person who would carry it around with me all the time. Now, Swiss Army knives have been around for donkey's years. In fact, the company that makes Swiss Army knives has been around since 1884. It was two companies that made them for the Swiss Army, although they didn't actually always get used by the Swiss Army. They had something else, so they just called them a Swiss Army knife, and they got a little Swiss symbol on it. People still use them today. If you look at Adam Savage's video on YouTube, he's still got them today. He still uses one all the time in his little workshop place. He's even got one of the big displays that they used to have in the window. So you used to go past shops, and shops would have a window display with a Swiss Army knife in it, with the bits moving around, like the knives and stuff going up and down. And that was just the norm then. You used to just buy them in these shops, hardware shops and camping shops, those sorts of places. And it was a tool because it would have more than one function. Most popular models were like the Huntsman. It was quite a sort of a medium-sized one, but it had screwdrivers, it had a little pair of pliers, things you could prise stuff open with, stuff like that. And he'd always wanted a good Swiss Army knife. His friend around the corner, Tony had a Swiss Army knife, had one of the really big XL Swiss Army knives. But those weren't available in the UK. Tony's friends got that abroad for him. I think got it in France or Germany, somewhere like that. And that was the thing over in places like Calais even. The shop windows, you go to shops which are tobacconists usually, and there was tobacconists and sort of gun shops. They would have shop windows full of knives and guns and all sorts of weird stuff. For my dad's birthday, for his 50th birthday in the 90s, early 90s, I thought I'll get him a Swiss Army knife. I'll get him the top of the range one, but not the XL. The XL is just ridiculously large and is not really pocket sized. I wanted to get him something he'd stick on his belt and use it every day. So that was this, which is the Swiss Champ, as it was then called and now called. Before that, it was just called the Champion. And it's a multi-tool. It's got 33 different functions, but it's not massively large that you can't carry it with you every day if you wanted to. Nobody had this particular model. In fact, they all said to me, you can't get it in the UK. If you want to get it, you're going to have to go abroad. So I had to ring around, use the phone, because there's no internet, and rung around, try and find different places for it. And eventually I ended up actually speaking to the guy that ran the company that imports the knives for the UK. So he was the boss, or the director, the owner of Victorinox UK. And I said to him, I want this knife. And he said, oh, well, we don't do that in the UK. I said, I understand you don't do it in the UK, but I really want one. It's my dad's 50th birthday, and I really, really feel like I wanted to get him something special. And he said, fine, okay, but it's going to have to be imported for you. I said, that's fine. Import me the Swiss Champ Swiss Army knife. Now, today, the Swiss Champ Swiss Army knife is available. You can get it online, obviously, because online now exists. You can get it in lots of different shops, lots of different places, Amazon, Victorinox themselves. Victorinox actually has become a much, much bigger company. Back then, it was just producing knives. Now they produce watches, which I love. They also produce fragrances. They do all sorts of different things, clothing, bags, lots of stuff. There's a link to their website. I'll stick that down below. You'll see what they do. For this knife, back in, I think it was 93 or 94, probably 94, this cost me £100 for a pocket knife. Now, lots of other pocket knives, penknives and things like that were literally 10, 20 quid. These things I paid £7 or £8 for that thing. And I'm sure Leanne probably only paid £5 or £10 for this. So back then, 100 quid for this thing is a bit on the expensive side. And of course, it wasn't just that, because I also wanted the case. A nice leather case. As I said, I wanted my dad to be able to put it on his belt. The case, which is this leather case, was an extra 25 quid. That was 25 quid on top of the 100 quid I'd already paid on the knife. The registered retail price for these, I think, is 119. So they, strange enough, although inflation's gone up, prices of manufacturing the goods has come down. So actually, you can still buy the knife for 100 quid that I would have paid 100 quid for back then. But even so, that's still an expensive piece of kit for something that's that big that fits on your belt and you don't always necessarily need or use. I may start using it because, as I said, it's got 33 functions and they're really, really useful. It's got everything you need. I mean, you've got pliers, you've got magnifying glasses, you've got loads of screwdrivers like the other tools I've got, but this time they're slightly bigger. The pocket tool that Leanne got me has got a little nail file on it. This thing's got an enormous nail file. Huge. You've got a couple of saws that will look like saws. You've got one of them, which is this thing, which is sort of basic saw for all sorts of various things, lightweight things. It's not overly sharp, and it's got a measuring side, so it's actually got numbers, so you can use it as a ruler, and you can also use it as a fish scaler. There is also a much bigger saw, a much sharper saw. This is for cutting through wood and lots of other things. Very, very sharp serrated edge. Things like a pair of scissors, a decent sized pair of scissors on it. So as a pocket tool and as they go, they are very, very, very useful. In fact, it even comes with a book telling you how useful it is and telling you what you can do with all the bits and bobs and how they work and what they do. They even do more modern ones now, of course. They now do versions that you can use for computers. So they're cyber tools for doing Ethernet cables and stuff like that. So they're still very, very useful. Whether or not I will be able to get away with using one, as I said, because of my ADHD, I do tend to still lose things and get stressed when I lose things. But as everyday carries go, that would be quite a handy thing to keep and to carry around. I've just been down the middle aisle of Aldi, and in the middle aisle of Aldi, I bought this. A little pocket torch, because it was cheap and I thought I could do with another torch to carry with me, because it's quite sturdy, it's quite heavy. You see people with their everyday carries with torches, so I thought, yeah, why not? I might just as well get one myself. And also, whilst I was in the middle aisle of Aldi, I also bought this thing. I've been after one of these, or some of these, because you actually buy them in a pack of 3, for years. I saw a lady come into work once with one used as a cable tie to hide cables on her laptop. And Aldi all of a sudden got a pet thing on, and I thought, yes, very handy.